I did it. What's up, everybody? We're on YouTube.
What an intro.
It's episode 15. Shut up and Scribble. My door's wide open. I just realized that. Peter's here. Taylor's here. JR's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble.
It's time!
Remember that time that Peter hit a massive dab on the show and no one reacted except for me?
On this show?
No,
On Savant. It was when I called Castro a beta. I was like, I dabbed after I said it, and as soon as I dabbed, I was like, "Dude, what the fuck did you just do that for?"
That intro is perfect because it then makes it past the 30-second mark where I can't swear.
I was going to
can't
say,
anything.
Peter that's the first time anyone's dropped a curse word before you, dude.
Is it 30 seconds? I thought I've been shooting for 10 minutes. I've fallen flat on my face every time, but I thought it was 10 minutes.
Well, we're not fucking going 10 minutes. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but this is just sabotage. That's all.
if I'm editing something, I typically take everything out of it. Any F words out.
That's just your
For maximum reach.
religious
No,
moral standing, though.
No, Hiller does it too.
Yeah, frickin'.
Freaking. So what's up? Hey, Peter.
How are you guys? This is this feels a bit special. I like this.
Feels very intimate.
Yeah, it's weird not having like 12 boxes with everyone talking over everyone.
Who is self-help book? That's an interesting. They have a bit of feedback for us.
What's
You should
up?
bring your
Pull it up.
faces down.
Means she thinks we should put brown paper bags over our heads while the intro's going, so that you don't have to see our dead faces.
Me and Will were dancing.
Are you kidding me? I hit a little.
We were head bopping.
Or we should do like, you know how Chase and Bill, like one of them's playing the air drums, one of them's, you know what I mean? Like, they really get into the music. We should do something like that. Like we should just lip sync what she's saying.
Just hit that. Hit him with
I
one of
will
those.
say I did think about this the other week that there should be a video playing while the intro's going instead of us sitting there like.
Could you get the picture of JR and Taylor in their prom pose and just have it, you know, the way
There's
not even dance, but you know that like you know when you're in a meeting and the TV is on pause and the thing is moving around and you're waiting for it to bounce into the corner. Just have
that
them
would be awesome. I can do that for sure easily. That would be great. Good idea, Peter.
That's
Invoice
what I
us.
Who's he referencing?
Didn't Jared write Grabiel?
Jared, fucking Subway Jared?
Jared Grabiel, isn't it? Somehow I manage. No, that's Michael Scott.
Who are you referencing, Keeper?
We all know, I think.
Should be a video.
All right. Workouts. And
Well,
whether or not they're good. That's
You're
what
like
we're here to talk about.
you're like the bumpers in the
Which
bowling
bean are
alley.
we talking about, dude? Okay. All
Well,
right.
I know Taylor's just going to read the comments and laugh for the first 10 to 15 minutes.
Are we talking about NorCal first? NorCal
Yes.
CrossFit?
I'm having a terrible day, but let's go.
Tell us about it.
No way. I couldn't tell. Taylor just sent me a freaking book to my phone. I'm like, well, that's when I know.
Does that mean you gave Will a verbal lashing?
No,
Yeah,
I
it's
did not
like-
give him a verbal lashing. But
Every
Like
two-
a literal lashing.
Every 2 months, Taylor has a freak out day, and my phone just starts blowing up with these massive text messages. And every time I say, "Hey, dude, why don't you tell me like some of the stuff before you just get to like a list of 5 things that you want to happen at one time?" And then it never happens.
So
It
when
just
we were on
reminds me for the next pile up.
when we were on the phone earlier talking about programming, and all of a sudden he says, "You ever feel like you're just getting really overwhelmed?" I should have sent you a text
Fuck
like,
you
"Will,
guys dumping
Will,
my
brace
shit
yourself."
out to the
And then-
world.
and
I
then he
said I
just-
was having a bad day, not exactly what was happening.
And then he
dude.
just tries to overwhelm someone else so he feels better about it.
Exactly. It reminds me of this girl I dated, and it would seem like before every class that I was about to coach, she would send me this text about the worst thing that happened to her, knowing that I was about to coach a class. I'm like, well, Now I'm going to think about this person hanging themselves in their closet while I'm trying to brief 2115.9 of the whiteboard. Anyways, NorCal Classic.
Do you guys see the alien? Did anyone believe that the alien was real until you knew it was fake?
I thought it was real, dude.
I knew it was fake as soon as I thought it was fake from the beginning, but then whenever I saw someone grab it and I saw that it was like literally this big, I was like,
what do you mean someone grab it? Someone actually physically grabbed it?
Yeah, I grabbed it.
Oh, jeez.
And then I was like, we all know it's fake because I know aliens are at least 8 foot tall.
But also it's like, I always find it very convenient how any kind of evidence of alien is exactly what we find in the movies. It's never like why are they always humanoid? Why is it not like, like our imaginations are so narrow that it's like, well, I mean, it has to walk like us at least and have 4 limbs. I mean, anything outside of that is impossible. And it's like they found that there's a 30% DNA that's unaccounted for. It's like, so the alien is a 70% match for humans. It's like
when Joe Rogan talks about how like aliens probably don't have a physical form. Aliens that can transport here, if they exist, I think they're probably like just this massive consciousness. Anyways,
like
that's
a blob of jelly.
It's just really funny that this Mexican guy is standing in Mexican Congress with a little 2-foot doll that somebody made.
And they're in coffins. They're like in coffins. He's like,
this is an alien.
He's like,
I don't actually think he's Mexican, is he?
I think he's Peruvian.
Whenever anyone,
or maybe that's where they came from.
God damn, who's paying this guy?
He's like, hey, can you go to Janet's office and grab those 2 coffins I had sitting out? There are 70% human, 30% paper mache. Is what I'm calling.
It's like, what's the other 30%? Bullshit. What? Oh, I don't know. what it is.
Paper mache, dude.
Dude, I heard
exactly what that thing is.
I heard that he's like a Tomb Raider, and that it's just pieces of like old skeletals put together.
He's Laura Croft.
Who's Laura Croft?
Tomb Raider. What?
What? Dude, what the fuck, Will? Come on.
Is that from Tomb Raider the movie?
Peter just added paper mache
character
for his class.
Am I the Lauren Khalil of Shut Up and Scribble?
Taylor, have you ever played that
I'm
game?
the one that doesn't get the movie references, and then the guys, the 2 guy hosts, get mad at me for not getting movie references.
That's a game reference, though. It's not even a movie reference.
But Tomb Raider's a movie.
It is as well, but it's shit. Taylor, have you seen? Have you played that game?
What game?
Like Tomb Raider 1.
Should I answer this?
That's the Mexican guy saying, "Hey, SA, you need to chill on the fake aliens."
I'm getting a porn call.
I heard you're saying my aliens are fake, man.
Dude,
now do it in a
might
Mexican
be
accent.
the alien, dude.
That's just 30%.
Well, they are always trying to
This is
phone
NorCal
home.
Classic calling for me and JR to fix our programming.
Jeez.
Was that your attempt at a transition? Dude,
Hard take.
people are
That's what she
itching at the
said.
bit to. Hey, Peter, come on. It's a kid's
Sorry.
show.
Chomping at the bit.
Itching at the
They're
bit.
itching at the bit. They're just.
They need their fix.
They took the Russian crocodile. What is that?
For what? What are they itching? What are they itching for?
For someone to talk about NorCal Classic programming. That's why there's 103 people watching.
All right, let's do it. So NorCal Classic programming. Anyone that listened to Chase and Bill yesterday, I thought it was like impeccable timing, because whenever you pull up workouts for a competition, whether it's like Madrid or Rogue, Wadapalooza, NorCal Classic, the geeks that are programming nerds jump to immediate conclusions. Wait a minute, I've ran the MWGs and I've done all the time domains, and this is not, there's 10 events and 3 of them are under 3 minutes and 4 of them are under 5 minutes and all this stuff. But I think it's really good to get some context into the history of certain competitions. A lot of times people are aware of biases in the big competitions. Like think swimming with Wadapalooza, they think robust and heavy workouts sometimes with strongman influence at Rogue, and maybe the lesser known competitions, they don't know that, hey, they always do something outside, or they're always in the dirt, and they want it to be grassroots, and they want it to say what a lot of people think of when they think California.
They wanted to be in the dirt. They really wanted one person to be in the dirt at that running workout.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I think it is good to start that off like the show they did yesterday where Bill was kind of like, hey, like remember what this is supposed to be. Me and Taylor can argue and Peter can argue about
I'll just do what I just did. I'll just
If-
interject.
if you're having a competition that involves fitness racing, is it supposed to be CrossFit methodology, meaning everything has to be balanced. Everything has to be, there can't be too much monostructural. There can't be too much weightlifting. There can't be too much gymnastics. And I think we get into that mode of, hey, if you're doing any competition, especially if it's for money, the fittest should prevail and there should be a balance always.
And
There shouldn't be any biases. And I think that's a little bit unreasonable on our part.
Also, like, now I'm going to talk because he has to turn off his mic. Mike makes a good point there, Pool Boy, in the comments, and it's something that I was talking to Dylan about it yesterday, where you have, like, you're under pressure. There's other things to think about rather than just like, right, like Boz has this perfect thing of like, I can do whatever I want within certain confines and make it perfect and all balanced across the season and across this thing. Whereas if you're like a growing competition, or you're like hindered by space, or you have scaled and intermediate and RX and everything, you can't just be like, well, it has to be perfectly balanced. It's like, all right, then scaled just can't turn up because someone needs to miss out, and you need space for this, so they have to miss out. And I think you know, it does come a point where it's like rose tinted glasses and all things being equal and everything being perfect. Yeah, like it should be all balanced and everything else. But the reality is you need to make money. You need to have enough money to put on the event every year. Like, you could potentially do NorCal Classic as a perfectly balanced event and then just never be able to put it on again. So, like, that's the reality of it, that, like, you need to fund it, and you need those lower divisions, or those, like, lower skilled divisions to turn up to fund it. And then the more of them you have, then maybe you need to move venue or whatever. Like, there's all these different constraints, and it's not as easy as it is for, not saying Boz's job is easy, but it's not as easy as that, like, where it's just your event and budgetless.
Yeah, but
shut the fuck up, Peter.
Yeah, but shut the fuck up. Here's the deal. I'll say it.
It's always going to come down to what's more important to you. Is it more important to you to continue to grow the event from a monetary standpoint, from a participation standpoint? I mean, I think they said yesterday there's like 700 competitors, which is incredible. I mean, that's a ton of people. So instead of having 10 scored events, do you just have 6 or 7? And you can still have the same number of competitors, but the variation of movements, the equipment, the amount of time spent on the floor still balances out.
Yeah.
So I think there still is some give and take there. And I mean, look at the partnerships. It's incredible what they've done as far as building the competition.
Why
So
do they have those
people like
partnerships? Why do they have those partnerships?
So here's
they have money? No, I'm saying, how did they get them? How did they get those partnerships?
I mean,
do they know?
For me,
Longevity.
like Ben Alderman, Blair Morrison are like they're legends. Like everyone knows who they are. Whether you know Ben Alderman from him crushing the snatch ladder, or on one of Sevon's behind the scenes, he says, "I'm here to keep everyone honest. If you let your foot off the gas pedal, I'm going to beat you." Like, I know that quote from Ben Alderman just because of how many times I've watched those behind the scenes. I know Blair Morrison because he was like doing tie-dye before anyone thought tie-dye was cool, right? And he was going to mountains and hanging rings and doing workouts. Like, they're famous. And then they put Dave's name on it with the online qualifier. That's already going to get so many people.
What a comment. Yeah, no, I think it is that. I think that's why the brands are there, because it's like,
because Dave, because
reputation.
That, and they have a relationship with Dave. They just
reputation and vouching then.
Right. I think that 100% is the reason. I also don't think that these partnerships or brands care one bit about programming. When they're like, okay, I'm going to support an event, let me look at the program.
I know one that
one fucking does that. You know one does?
I know one that does.
Who?
Nah.
Can't say it?
Shan't be named.
Say my name, say my name.
Have either of the people involved with Crash or Charlotte said, anybody that's like supporting it financially said, yeah, but I need to see the workouts?
No, they care about how many people are showing up. Yeah. That's it.
How many people will see it? How many people will, and is it like, is it good? Not is the programming good, but is like the venue up to scratch, the judging up to scratch? Like, are people going to be complaining about it in 2 weeks' time, or are people going to enjoy it and want to come back and talk about it?
Right. And the other interesting, when you were bringing up what Bill and Chase talked about on their show yesterday, remember what it was about? Like, no, I don't actually. I don't remember what it was about because I have no idea what it's about other than it's this huge event that was put on because semifinals got canceled and their first place prize purse is $25,000. Workouts also weren't announced, to your point, until the night before for the final. So, like, I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. Say I'm a high-level athlete. I know that the prize purse is $25K. It's a CrossFit event. I'm excited. Workouts get announced, and they have a head-scratcher event, for example, that has airsoft guns in it.
Airsoft, bro?
Bro. Come on, dude. Like, that's just I don't see it.
But like for you, does it depend on who's doing it? Like when Rogue had a shooting event, did you have the same reaction?
Yeah, I think it's biathlon was close to Olympic event where I'm like, I think airsoft guns, that I think is super dumb. Yeah.
Is Taylor freezing up for you guys too?
Yeah, a little bit.
Nice.
Whoops.
So
yeah, let's like
don't talk about airsoft guns or I'm gonna dox you, dude.
let's pull up the workout so we can go through them and look because a lot
Okay.
of people probably don't know what they are.
While you're pulling them up, I did a workout once that was like it was like a airsoft is like a pellet gun, right? You put a little steel pellet into it. Is that
Yeah,
what you guys,
I used to have an airsoft podcast when I was like 13.
But if you miss, shut up, Taylor. If you miss the target, you have to do burpees. You have to do 10 burpees for every shot that didn't hit. Oh my god, I did so many burpees. Like I didn't hit once, and it was like a 15-minute workout.
You can have guns in Ireland.
Like fake little
Okay.
BB guns, like basically
You just throw a rock at a tree, and if you miss it, you do 10 burpees.
potato. But yeah, you throw a potato at a potato.
All right, tell me where to go, JR. What do you want to look at first?
Yeah, so I mean, like we can just go through them.
Well, can we first talk about what you said in terms of remember what it's supposed to be? Like, what is it supposed to be? Is it supposed to be this old, not classic CrossFit, like school gritty? Like, is that like? Explain that to me.
Yeah. So, and I may be paraphrasing what Bill said yesterday, but essentially, remember when it used to be like this? We used to grill out. We used to have a beer after the workouts. We used to sit around and be like, hey, what do you want to do? Hey, let's just race as fast as we can, 800 meters. Awesome. Let's go jump in the lake. Okay, cool. Let's do some things that normally you wouldn't be able to do in an off-season competition. Kayak 5K. Yeah, that sounds sweet. Let's go do it. Like, I think that the simplicity and the old school nature, which we can get into, we're seeing that come out in this competition. And if you're not really OG, because a lot of people say that they are and they're just not, should we be doing that right now when programming competitions, especially those that are getting so much monetary kickback? Is there something to be said for why the triple option isn't ran by every college team anymore? Because it's not relevant anymore. Teams know that you don't do that if you want to score a lot of points. But at one time, that was just what everyone did. So when we look at a competition, we're like, you know what? That's super OG. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Should we be changing with the times as far as programming goes, or should we be always clinging to CrossFit roots?
Me and you have talked about this a bit on various shows in private. You've spoken the phrase, yes, but. Like, is nostalgic good? Is old school good? Is getting back to the roots good? And the phrase that you use to describe both of our opinions kind of is yes, but. And I think that's the key. You still see some teams have a triple option play in their playbook, but like you said, they don't run it for the entire game. You still see some events or like Boz brings back an old school movement, like the L-sit seated legless rope climb. But it's not 100 L pull-ups for time. Like there's a place for it. And just because something is old school and that it was done in the past, and that then it was cool, or that's what you did then, doesn't mean it's relevant now, cool now, appropriate now, should be done now. I mean, they're just like, think about to me, there are a lot of examples I could use. I guess one that's maybe most appropriate is like a car window. It's nostalgic to have a hand crank car window, but it's also fucking dumb and annoying. And who wants to sit and go for 5 minutes while your window rolls up? Like, it's a lot easier and cooler to just hit a button that's automatic.
Well, I wonder too, like when people look at some of these workouts, right? There's a straight up swim, there's a kayak, there's an 800-meter sprint for time, there's a double broad jump. So we see a lot of single modality, and right now it appears like single modality is coming back, right? A lot of people are choosing to do it. It got a lot of praise at the games this year for doing a 5K run, a bike only, a lifting only, a gymnastics only. Do a lot of people that are looking at this programming know double broad jump? That's like a tip of the hat to the broad jump at the games. 800-meter run. That's like a tip of the hat to the sandbag run or whatever. Like, do people see this and they know, hey, they're almost like paying their respects to the old school ways of programming? And if that is the point, why is that bad or good or bad?
But does it matter, like, if we know? Like, does it matter if people, as in, like, if you have an event that's a standalone event and it's not part of the season, and I'm going to get back in my lane now in a second, but if you have, like, a standalone event that's not part of the season, can it not just be what it is? And then, like, if you want to know if it's right, just survey the athletes and the spectators and be like, hey, did you enjoy it? And then if the athletes are like, fuck yeah, it was great, and if the spectators are like, yeah, it was great, then it's perfect the way it is, and why change it? Whereas, like, if it's like part of this broad, like, calendar year long piece of programming that's supposed to slot in, then yeah, obviously it matters. Like, because if the open and the semifinals or whatever have nothing to do with each other, people would be pissed off. Or if they're doubling up, people would be pissed off. But like, this isn't that. It's like a standalone competition that, I mean, they've done pretty well to get the amount of prize money that they have, and like, run it whatever way you want. And then if everyone enjoys it, do it again next year. You know, instead of like, I understand like assessing programming is like the thing, you know, like, and it's like, you know, is it good, is it bad, whatever. But like, I think it's objectively, you can say, you can assess the programming objectively as like a programmer and say, well, I wouldn't have done this or I would have done that, and that workout with that workout doesn't make sense, whatever. But assessing a competition's validity or the rightness or wrongness of them doing things a certain way is kind of a moot point when it's a standalone event, not part of a broader season or something. And it's just like, just ask the people that were there, was it good? If they say yes, then keep doing it. If they say no, then fuck your broad jumps, pick something better.
I think assessing the validity is important when you're saying you're running a CrossFit competition. And I also think what you said about it's your competition, do whatever the fuck you want, holds some weight. I do know that I've had a lot of people reach out and were like, what in the world is this in regards to Northern California Classic? That being said, I also know that that event is still going to grow and get a lot of people the next year. The same reason that CrossFit competitions that have been put on for years that have no business existing or programming continue to grow and continue to have people sign up, because people like to compete. And for a long time, there was a pretty big hole, I would say, in the market for good competitions or places where people could feel like, hey, I sign up, I have fun, I go compete. And it's weird. I don't know the athletes really, a lot of them probably don't think about the programming. They think, hey, was this run well? Did I like it? Did I have fun?
Was it valued?
Yeah, but I do think that it falls on the event organizer to, if you're going to call yourself a CrossFit competition, it's just my opinion that your event should be CrossFit. And that means that it's well balanced and that it's all 10 general physical skills and not 5 workouts with one of those 10 general physical skills. And that it's also not that, like, I mean, safety is important for athletes. I would say that probably a lot of the athletes that lined up into that 800-meter run, where half of them were on the curb, the other half were in a sand dune, and the other half had like 1 foot in a fucking drainage ditch gutter. Like,
and had to run around a pole in the first 3 meters.
They're probably like, man, this is not that safe, but there's $25,000 at the end of this. So if I break a leg, fuck it. That's just, come on, man. Like, you know.
Yeah, so I got 2 things. first thing, to Peter's point, should what people are calling showcases be competitions? Because I'm pretty sure there's a pretty professionalized showcase coming up in the UK pretty soon.
Mhm.
And that isn't for prize money. That's appearance fee. So here's the deal. If you're going to say something's a showcase, should it be a competition also for money? Or should it just be, hey, we're going to let these people come and put on a show for everyone. They're going to be working out. They're going to be doing CrossFit, but we're not concerned with hitting all the time domains. We're not concerned with balancing upper body pushing and pulling. We're not concerned with balancing squatting and hinging. This is just a show. So that raises another question. And then to Taylor's point, with the good or bad thing, if the competition is being programmed so that people want to sign up for it because it looks fun, that can be more important than whether or not it's a good test of fitness. It's really just ultimately all up to the event programmers and organizers. And we can sit back and say, yeah, it looks fun to swim, get out, do an obstacle course, jump up on the rings, do some muscle ups. I'm never going to get to do that in my training. I'm never going to probably do that in a competition. So I would love to sign up and go to California to do that. Or there are going to be people that say that doesn't get me ready for the season, so I don't want to do it. I would probably argue that there's a lot more people that want to do a competition that's more fun comparatively to the amount of people who are using competitions as touch points throughout the off season.
I don't think that there are some events in this competition that just aren't fun to me when I read them. Like, I don't read that and think, okay, this is fun. I also don't think that in CrossFit you can have a showcase without competition, because I think so much of what is the showcase for people watching a CrossFit event is the effort that is drawn from competition. And when it's like, okay, it's not a competition and everybody's just not trying now, like, well, what the fuck what do I watch? Like, why do I care to watch a bunch of people work out at 70% or 50% effort? It's not like the home run derby, in my opinion.
So is the Open a well-balanced fitness test?
It's what the Open this year is probably more well-balanced than this competition with 7 less events.
I think with only 3 weeks, it doesn't matter how many two-parters you have. When it went away from 5 weeks, I think it becomes very difficult to say it's a well-rounded
Right.
test of fitness.
So what sets the standard of what a CrossFit competition should be?
What sets the standard? Probably the games.
Isn't it though, like
finals?
You have those, like the CrossFit Games, the remit, the whatever purview, I don't know what the fucking word to use. The aim of the CrossFit Games is to find the fittest on earth. So then you're talking about your 10 things and, like balance and everything. Whereas like if you have, hypothetically, I know, Taylor, you really care about programming, but like if you didn't and you just had the Charlotte Classic, and it's like, you're not saying that you're finding the fittest person to turn up at the competition. You're just saying you're finding a winner and a second place and a third place. Then it removes the onus that's on you to say, well, this workout's balanced out by this one. And then, like, it's just like, I guess, horses for courses, I suppose. And like, once you're not claiming that you're like NorCal aren't I assume they're not claiming that they're finding the fittest anything. Do you know what I mean? It's just like the winner and the second place and the third place.
But if you're calling yourself a CrossFit competition, then by nature, if it's true to the methodology, the person who wins your competition is the fittest there, because the fittest person is the person who can perform well across the 10 general physical skills with a balanced task. So if you're using the word CrossFit, and I don't know that they are, maybe the Northern California Classic, it's not a CrossFit competition, it's a classic competition. So I guess I can go jam something up my butt. I just think that when you're alluding to this, okay, this is going to be CrossFit, and you get there and it's not really, and it's not, and we'll go over why I don't think it's CrossFit.
Well, it's like, to Taylor's point, we've argued about this before, because I know he doesn't really like it when anyone compares CrossFit to other sports because it is unique. But if you think about different competitions in the same way that you think about like the landscape of the competition, you think about the landscape of different golf courses, and you know that if you are playing a links course, or if the British Open is at a links course, you need to be able to be long. And you know that if you're going to the Masters, you have to be able to hit narrow fairways. And that's just the shape of the competition. It plays for a specific type of athlete. It doesn't mean that whoever wins the Masters is the best golfer in the world. So why can't these competitions be like that? Where, hey, if you're going to win Rogue, you got to have this skill set. If you're going to win Dubai, you have to be able to go long. If you're going to win Wadapalooza, you got to be able to swim. I think that's a good thing.
I think that is a good thing. I think what you are doing, though, is you're taking something that's on a really broad spectrum and saying it's either like golf or tennis, where a clay court versus a turf court or a grass court, some athletes are going to be better on one than the other, and then saying that this event is comparable to a CrossFit event that's well balanced, and it's just not. It's like not even the same sport. It is so different.
Yeah.
There's
All right,
just
well,
way too much of there's way
But
too
when you trickle down and you have, like, say, local, like more smaller local comps than NorCal or whatever, like I'm going to an event, and the last time they do 2 a year, and the other one that I was at, every workout was 7 minutes, because they're restricted by venue numbers, all this kind of stuff. And like, yeah, it's not perfectly balanced. And like, no one's going to be doing a fucking marathon row, or, you know, like whatever, like a big long workout or anything in that 7 minutes. But like, they're making the best of what they have with what they have, and they're trying to make it as balanced as they possibly can within that. But I still call it CrossFit, because it's still high intensity. It's still, you know what I mean? Like, it's, you can't have, it's just difficult to have everything, I guess, is my point.
This guy's comment's funny. The double broad jump was cool and different. I won it.
Which, hey, but I don't know if you guys heard or not. I may be wrong.
Congrats,
He'll
Hans.
correct us. I want to say that he double broad jumped 22 feet, which is
That's
insane.
crazy.
Like, that's
Yeah.
that's really cool that he has that kind of skill set to just show up and do something like that based on his background. Before we get too in the weeds, though, we're already 30 minutes in. Can we pull up some of the
My shorts
some
are
of the
full of
workouts?
pre-cum. Let's pull this up.
Having done broad jumps on Self-Made like 2 weeks ago, and felt like the most unathletic human to ever live, I commend anyone that was doing double broad jumps and making it not look shit.
Anytime Taylor programs them at the gym, it's like a struggle to hit the 5 foot line. I'm like full out jumping every time, and he's like, "Go faster!" I'm like, "Dude, this is like my max jump."
I was doing it here,
Oh
like
my
behind
God.
me, and I was like, man, I'm gonna crash into that bike. Like, I'm gonna destroy it. Wasn't even close. Like, I was like barely. Oh, it's just so hard.
Okay, so there's 10 events. Start with just scroll all the way up. This is the first score of a 2-scored workout, and this is a 300-meter lake swim, and it's part of a longer workout. Correct, JR?
Yep.
This is a cool workout.
Yep.
Let's
So
go
lake
to the
swim.
next one.
Swim, that's cool. You're not gonna be able to do that in a lot of competitions.
If they wanted it to be balanced, they probably just should have swam with dumbbells or something.
So it's probably right. So that was a part of this workout. Your score was the first 300-meter swim. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. And then it was like an obstacle course, and then it ended with muscle ups.
Obstacle course, run, muscle ups. Cool. Good workout. That's 2 scores. Monostructural, long workout.
Yep.
Next, double broad jump.
So we get to double broad jump, and me and Taylor will go back and forth a little bit about this. I was a big proponent when we were talking about games programming and predictions about, what if there's a little wrinkle in there and they did like a max vertical leap, right? They just did that, but they did that as a way to test explosiveness, aka what a lot of people would think about strength, right? Explosive hip opening. Why is a vertical leap any less important than a max power clean or a max hang power clean? And I think it's a really good argument that holds up. But what Taylor will remind us of is, okay, you've tested that, and now you're going to do a max snatch. So although a lot of people will see it and think, oh, broad jump, max snatch, that's not even close to the same thing. It is very close to testing for the same athlete.
Yeah, very similar athletes gonna win a 1-rep max snatch and also have a massive broad jump if they're.
I would also say though that the unlike a clean, the snatch is a lot more technical.
It is more technical. So if you don't have technique, right, you're shit out of luck. But you have to have massive hip extension, explosive power, speed, and strength to snatch heavy, you also need all those things for a double broad jump. One is just zero skill to a degree, and the other is extremely high skill.
So if they took a snatch and they made it heavy and they put it in a mixed modal setting and not really in a 1 rep max setting, would it make you like the double broad jump more?
I would rather see the broad jump in a mixed modal setting.
Okay.
I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, either though, but yes. Okay, next. Upside down. This is one of those things where when you're telling me, oh, they want to be old school, nostalgic, simple, I'm like, well, this ain't simple.
I saw it at the games. I saw it, so we need to put it in. That's what this sounds like.
Not simple in any way.
And I think Chase asked Bill yesterday, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty sure they said, hey, originally it was bar muscle up. We saw them do the pullovers at the games, and we were like, you know what? Let's do pullovers. And a lot of people are going to program competitions and think the exact same thing. A lot of people did that with shuttle runs. A lot of people did that with wall walks for a whole year. A lot of people have done that with crossover double unders and single unders. They're going to see it and think that's the sexy thing. I'm going to put pirouettes in for a handstand walk workout.
Wall walks is sexy.
To me, the coolest thing in the competition is that they went for it, took a risk, did something creative that I haven't seen done before, and mandated backwards handstand walks. Some people are going to hate that. Some people are just going to be like, whatever. If they're there, cool. If they're not, cool. Kind of like the pirouettes. Some people love them. Some people hate them. But I commend them for being creative with the backwards handstand walk. But to me, just leave it bar muscle ups. I think that's just going to be something we see now over the whole year. Everyone's going to practice pullovers. That's great. But that doesn't mean they always have to be in a competition.
Do you think the pullover is a good test of fitness?
It's a good way to exhibit my lack of fitness by watching.
It's a good way to bruise your front tail.
I think it's a good way to test coordination.
Okay. All right. I think so when you see this workout, we talked a whole lot about it, and the consensus was, okay. So next.
They got some sexy in with this workout. Like, this is the sexy workout of everything, right? If everything else is like very easy to follow, very grassroots, very OG, like they did throw in some creativity there with that workout.
With the backward handstand walk and all that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. This workout, 5K kayak for time. I think this is cool, but I go back to a 300-meter open water swim already being tested for points, which is monostructural. 800-meter sprint coming up, already being tested for points, which is another single modality monostructural event. And by single modality and monostructural are different. Single modality is one thing you're doing for a score, right? Just running, just kayaking, just doing pull-ups. Monostructural is like a cardiovascular, cyclical, repetitive thing. So the swim is one, cardio. 800-meter run, another single modality cardio. 5K kayak, another single modality cardio. That's 3 out of 10. That's a little crazy to me.
I think it's good that they went long. I think the positive of this workout is they did something really long.
Was the obstacle course workout not? How long was that?
Not nearly as long as this.
This is probably, this is way longer than a 5K run. You would probably, this is like 40 minutes?
Yeah, this was long. And I think only the elites did it, which is cool too,
Okay.
that they gave them a little something to do that's a little bit more demanding than the other divisions.
It does remind me of the games when they did the kayak and how it was frustrating at how some of the athletes, they just stuck because they didn't know how to use a kayak.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate to see that on some levels. Like at the games, look, it's okay. It's cool. I like the event. It's a cool event. 5K kayak. That's cool. Let's go next.
Yeah, and I think the winning time on this was what, like high like 150s, 140s, maybe
So
even
definitely
faster
not
than
800
that. So
meters.
probably not 800, but just a good old fashioned foot race. Okay, yeah, and you've talked about it. We're keeping track of the single modality monostructurals, and then we've also got the broad jump that I guess we're just gonna put in the gymnastics category. But
Wow, they really are. They're this is just like the 5K at the games, 800-meter dash, but 600 meters. Well, I don't know why they just don't call it what the true distance is. Interesting. I also think when people are like, okay, people want to just go and do cool things at an event, that's like the last thing I think of. That's why, like, what's a cool thing I'm going to go do at an event? 800-meter dash and a double broad jump. I mean, it's a good race. I just don't think this is the place for it. Next.
All right, I'll start on this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I've thought about these workouts entirely too much since they've been out. But at the games, everyone wanted to know what Helen was going to be. Everyone wanted to know, is it going to be 2 kettlebells? Is it going to be a barbell? Is it going to be like, no one thought it was going to just be dumbbell snatches. Everyone just assumed it was going to be some kind of swing. And we saw the age groups do a variation of a Russian swing where the standard was like handle above the brow, right? And even that, there was some talk that it was still kind of a hard standard to judge, but they still kept it classic with that. I would love to know in this workout, was it originally written as a grip test with Russian kettlebell swings, or did they have some influence from the games like the pullovers and decide, hey, I think we can do swings. Let's just do Russian, make it easier to judge, make it be 50 reps of time under tension, who can climb the rope under fatigue. Based on the other movements they had, right, they had we had some hinging coming with the sandbag workout. They did the snatch, but that was very low volume. We're going to do a lot of squatting pretty much in the last couple workouts with the thrusters. Like, this could be double kettlebell deadlifts. It could be double kettlebell hang clean. It could be light double kettlebell hang snatches. But the Russian swing is the last thing I thought they would do.
Did you like it?
No.
Cool. Yeah, I think you give an event that you want to get people excited about. I just don't look. Is this give a good stimulus? For sure. Great stimulus. But I just don't see, like, where are you getting the idea that people, especially elite competitors that are there to compete for $25,000, are getting excited about this workout? Like, where do you create any separation on this and show that one person is fitter than another? I mean, but I guess people have said in the chat that it's not about finding the fittest here. So
sorry, I'm actually going to go back on what I said. So, like, it isn't about, if you're claiming it's not about finding the fittest, then that's fine. But like JR said at the start, if it's an exhibition, then, like you made the point of, if it's an exhibition, do you pay out or whatever? Like, I'm fine with it being an exhibition and still charging, or being like just a competition and charging and paying out or whatever. But like, then you need to make it a spectacle. And like, fucking thoughts of watching, like me going to watch an event or watching online, I'm watching a 5K kayak, an 800-meter run, albeit with some humorous trip ups, and like then watching them race 50 kettlebell swings and then climb a rope 5 times. It's like, if you're going to ignore the fact that it's balanced, like if you're going to not do that, you at least have to make it wildly entertaining then. Like, you at least have to make the races like this, like for time shit, where it's just one thing and then another thing, better be epic. Well, like the 800-meter course better be perfect.
This person did the workout and they loved it.
Yeah, but they didn't watch it. I mean, like me watching it. Right. Like 50 kettlebell swings, I'm going to lose track immediately of where everyone is. Like, I'm not going to be able to follow that. Counting.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff is annoying.
Yeah, for sure. I do think it's important that the athletes should have a good time. That the
athletes, no, yeah, I accept that. Totally accept that. But I think
you're right. How do you
your two considerations will be like athletes, fans. And it's like, are they having a good time? Like, just workouts, not even the competition, but are they having a good time on the competition floor? Are the workouts good and enjoyable and stuff? And then are the fans able to watch, get excited, whatever, blah, blah. And like, nothing will bore me more than watching a 5-kilometer kayak where I see them for 20 seconds. And then I'm like, is that him or is he gone? And then watching people fall over, like, yeah, great. I actually would like to watch that. And then the 50 kettlebell swings, it's just like, come on, like, do something different, like do something more, get me giddy, like, by the first bit, if you're going to do the rope climbs at the end. But what the fuck do I know? I don't know.
No, hey, your input is valuable.
No, I think it is important. And it's something that I talk about with Taylor a lot, where I struggle with you know, the fact that we're going to stream it this year. So do I need to put the presentation, the flow, the spectator experience before the test? And the answer is always no, that I come back to, that the test is more important. And I care a lot more about the workouts than I do about how they look. But it comes into play. It comes into play a lot more than programmers want to admit. If they,
but it should be your second. That's your second priority.
The other part of that, in my opinion, is that a test that truly is an awesome test of fitness, whatever element of fitness you're trying to test for, can also be equally as entertaining for an audience. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And if you're so set on something like Russian swings and rope climbs, well, that's just your fault as a programmer, and you can find something that tests grip endurance and your ability to climb a rope just as well as this workout. That's also a lot more digestible for people to watch.
Yeah, and there are things that just some people love. Like some people that love Russian kettlebell swings may loathe dumbbell stepovers. They think they're clunky. They think they're stupid. They think they look bad. They think that they're not fun to watch. You're just walking back and forth over this wooden thing. Like, cool. I love stepovers. So it's no different than us saying, I hate Russian swings. Why would you ever put those in a competition? It's no different than if someone looks at one of our competitions and say, I can't believe he did stepovers again. Those are so stupid.
You know what's really similar to a Russian kettlebell swing?
Hang power clean?
A double broad jump and a snatch. Unfortunately, all about hip extension, speed, power, explosiveness. I mean, there's the element of grip, and it's 50 reps, which is quite.
So does a sandbag clean go into that category?
Sandbag clean is very hip extension.
Next workout, please.
Who's got them hips, baby? Who's got Shakira would have won this competition.
Yes, we talked about this, and this is like, you know, I will say with a 10 scored event competition, having something like this definitely fits. Like if you're not going to have 6 or 7 workouts, you want to test strength basically under no fatigue. There's a few double unders in there. Then this fits. And we've already talked about the juxtaposition between this and the explosive hip opening of the double broad jump. Taylor just alluded to more hip extension on the kettlebell swings. We'll have the sandbag cleans coming. But yeah, heavy barbell. I'm just going to say that a competition like this with this much backing, I don't think that the equipment is going to be an issue.
Right.
So you have this workout and you have the thruster finale coming up, and there's your barbell. You have a kettlebell workout. You have a sandbag workout. You have some odd objects in the adventure race. You've got a kayak. Like the equipment spread has been there. No dumbbells, which I think that could have been mixed in, especially with the finale. But yeah, like heavy barbell, that's cool. People want to do that. People want to max out. Whether or not you think there's a place for it in programming, people love to do it.
What do you think if someone just says to you, big snatch energy, what comes to mind?
BDE.
Big dick energy. Then what comes to mind? Go back to big snatch energy, then what comes to mind? For me, it was big vagina energy. Anyways.
That was a perfect fell flat. Loved
Just
it.
the deadpan.
Joe, I was going to respond, and I was like, no, leave him sit.
Leave him sit. What kind of energy is that exactly? Okay. I love the workout name. I think that's hilarious. And I have big vagina energy, bro.
Sounds like someone who can carry their shopping in from the trunk of their car with 3 bags at once, one in each hand.
Holy fuck. All right. This guy goes going to an all fat chicks brothel. Big snatch energy. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we got another couplet. This is also single modality, right? There are 2 movements, but it's still single modality, weightlifting only, sandbag. So you got clean and then the squat, and the squat was bear hug. To me, like that's a sneaky risk as far as from a programming standpoint. I don't know what the standards were for this. We could ask Logan, we could ask Pool Boy. I think a lot of times people avoid the bear hug position on a squat because it's hard to tell whether or not the sandbag gets offloaded on the inner thigh
at the legs,
and at the bottom. And you see a lot of people going to that shoulder squat like they did at the games with ski bag. But like for what this is, for like a sprint workout, this is cool. 15 reps, nothing to slow you down, descending, but we're going to get another couplet with the Fran. We just had a, you could call it a sprint chipper, right? With the 2 movements, kettlebell swing and rope climb. So yeah, another couplet. I would have expected at this point, we got like a classic chipper or maybe even another triplet.
And then another couplet.
Yeah. And then this got changed. I think they went up to 115 and 75, which I think was a great call because you would have just had, who can ride the line with movement standards, like way more so if you had 95, 65. Mm-hmm. Putting in a reverse order definitely makes it harder. Taylor, programming, like if you had the reins on this programming and they sent you everything and you said nothing changes but the finale, you have to keep the movements, what do you do?
With pull-ups and thrusters?
Mm-hmm.
I would probably do some sort of death by, I think, format.
That'd be cool. I actually just saw this and was like, I would do 45 chest to bar, 45 dumbbell thruster for time, 45, 45. And
knowing the standards from that, what was that European event that did the dumbbell thrusters? That was a whack job.
Yeah, they would have to advance like every 9. So everyone would do the pull-ups unbroken. And then who could hold on for 45 dumbbell thrusters? Standards aside, I know that's a mess as far as dumbbell thrusters go, but I just think like put dumbbells in place of the barbell here and it's already way grippier. It's already more challenging. And I mean, you can't get more OG than Fran, more classic than Fran.
I would probably do a buy-in each minute of a particular amount of pull-ups or maybe a longer time domain and then just build thrusters until you fail. I think that would be a cool, like advance the bar. Once you get past a certain minute, keep advancing each minute that you continue.
What's interesting, like, to Peter's point about having all the community divisions do the workouts and not have them like not be able to walk for 2 or 3 days after. You don't look at any of these workouts and see much volume. So despite the fact that there's 10 scored events, like I think that you need to have volume to separate and that you need to have ample volume, especially with elite competitors, to really dig into like muscle stamina and endurance, but you don't really get that here. And is that purposeful that they didn't have to do more than 100 reps of anything? Or is that what caused the leaderboard to shake out the way it was? I mean, did everyone go to the competition just assuming Tim was going to win? Did people go to the competition assuming Andrea was going to win? Like, I would love to know those things from the competitors.
Who won on the women's or on the men's side?
Sean Sweeney.
Okay. Well, that's not surprising. Who won on the women's side?
Brittany Weiss.
Over Andrea Nisler?
Weiss, sorry. Oh, Weiss.
Over Lauren Fisher was second, wasn't she?
Over Lauren Fisher, too. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need a lot of volume to make a good event, but you do need to test it to a degree. I mean, that's another part of CrossFit. If you take the programming online course, it talks about balanced workouts between low volume and heavy, moderate volume, moderate weight, high volume, low weight, high volume, moderate weight.
I'll be back in 1 sec.
All sorts of shit. That's just odd that, like
we won't be here when you get back.
Not a lot of volume, and I'll be here. You can go. Not a lot of volume and a lot of like 3-minute or less workouts.
Yeah, so when we look at the programming as a whole, the huge thing that stands out to me and that I would worry about kickback was the fact that 4 of the scored workouts were about 3 minutes or less. And that not just for the winners, but for the majority.
Everyone. Yeah.
There was something really, really long. There was a lot of single modality. And I mean, shoot, I have single modality, coming in Crucible, and I'm going to try to balance it and own it. And there's going to be people that think that it weighs in too much. I'm also using a different scoring system. So I would argue that if you have a scoring system that truly rewards force specialists and punishes specialists that don't have all their bases covered, single modality can be a great tool in program design because you can have someone take points away by beating someone by 2 to 3 minutes. Likewise, you could have someone who's really, really good at one thing, who is terrible at something else, fall out of a podium contention spot just because they're not well-rounded. Peter?
You gotta go, don't you? Don't you have to go, JR?
No.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Me? Oh, no. I'm okay. I was just saying goodnight to my kids.
Yeah, you guys go.
I'm all right.
What do you
Love
mean?
you.
What do you mean you guys go? Well,
I gotta
we're
go
gonna
pick.
stay.
I gotta go pick her up.
You go. Love you, bro.
Love you,
Love you.
bro. Love
You
you,
look
bro.
great, JR. JR looks great, doesn't he? He always looks great.
He's got a nice glow.
Yeah.
Do you think he spray tans? Have you ever gotten a spray tan, Peter? You probably look pretty good. Yeah.
What?
With a spray tan?
Wow, isn't it amazing how quickly the wheels came off? Just like seconds after he left, it just went downhill.
JR's out.
No.
Do you have a favorite workout or competition programming, or do you have a favorite year of the games?
Oh, japers.
Your
My
favorite workout.
my favorite workout, and a lot of people don't like it. My favorite workout is chaos. I just loved that idea.
Oh wow. Have you ever done it?
No,
Okay.
but just
you
to
like
watch.
chaos. You like chaos to watch at the games.
Loved it.
Okay.
I just thought, I was like, this is so good, because it's like you have those people that are, like nobody really knew what was going on, but then you also had the people who were slightly behind and saw a hand go up, and they had the gamesmanship of like, oh shit, I think I'm like 4 reps behind them, so I can pick up that like in-game changing of your tactics as you realize what was happening in front of you, or like seeing the next person, like seeing Vellner move on to whatever, you were like, okay, I need to do this differently to be better prepared for that than he is. Or I like that. Like, it's cool.
What's your favorite workout to do?
See, I'm like really shit at CrossFit. I love the most of the Thursday conditioning pieces.
You like cardio machines?
Yeah, it's just because it's so low skill. It's like I can't fuck it up. Like I hate myself before it, during it, and after it. I hate like every fiber of humanity. But like I can't. I won't be restricted by anything. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm going to get caught up when I get to like it's going to be a one-man bottleneck when I get to the pull-ups. It's like it'll just be that. I do like workouts. I do like workouts that have like 200 or 400 meter run or something in the middle, like every so often. I like those kind of ones, just because like sometimes it's nice to be alone with your thoughts and just think about like, why are you not better at that thing that you were just doing?
Next week is 4 minutes on, 2 minutes off for 8 sets on Thursday. 4 minutes of work, 2 minutes of rest for 8 sets, alternating between round 1, 500 meter ski, then max distance standing bike.
Neither of which I can do because I don't have a skier or a biker. Go on.
Next interval, reverse it. 1,000 meter standing bike, max distance ski. So you just do row and assault bike.
Yeah.
500 meter row and standing assault bike.
To Cave Dastro's point, it might be my favorite workout, but it's my wife's least favorite.
Oh, wow. My favorite workout is baby making. My wife's least favorite.
Although I'll tell you what, it's my fastest time.
You're a fucking idiot. I had this wrestling coach where if we weren't close to making weight or we got in trouble, we would have airdynes at our school, and he would take the seat off, and you would just have to fucking bike on the airdyne with no seat. So same thing as an assault bike. Arms going, and if you sat down on the airdyne, it was like an even narrower metal post. It was like getting pegged right in the beehole. So you wouldn't want to do that unless you were a different kind of kid.
Yeah. I'm doing some stuff with Filthy 150 for they're doing like a competition in a couple of weeks, and I was like, I ran their social media at the games and stuff like that, and she was like, we'll pay this or whatever, and then she put up that they were selling equipment, and I was like, can I just have a concept bike? I was like, I don't want to be paid, just give me the concept bike. And she was like, yeah, I mean, that's over double what we agreed on, but I'll see what I can do. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, you can write it off or whatever. I don't know, VAT. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that's my plan.
Nice. Concept bikes are sick.
But even just, it's like you can actually, you can watch TV on it, or, you're not going to piss off the other person in the room. Like assault bike, like your neighbors can't watch TV.
Can't do that.
Like,
no.
Yeah.
It also would kind of piss you off in the room, probably, if you had a biker. Like, don't have that illusion. Like, if you took a biker inside, your wife would probably be pissed.
Yeah.
So just know that.
Put a box around the fan.
Yeah.
Just put a whole box over your face. What?
No, I'm okay.
Dude, do you know who Theo Vaughn is? Peter?
No.
Damn, dude, he's really funny. He's coming to Charlotte. Sorry, not Charlotte. Winston-Salem the same day as our competition, and I was like really debating
Changing
like,
the date.
getting scrapping the competition, going to see this guy. No, just buying tickets and going that night, like after the competition was closed for like a 4 or 5 hour trip. But not
My parents were gonna come visit me for the first time in 2 years since I've been in Charlotte, and the only time that worked to come was the weekend of our competition. So
they're coming.
nope.
Oh,
Oh,
what? Damn.
Someone ages ago was like, "You guys." So JR referenced something. I can't remember what it was, and the entire rest of the time he was talking, I was like, "Is he talking about? Is that a CrossFit thing or a football thing?" I was like, "Should I know what that means?" And then someone asked in the comments, ask him what he thinks it is, and I was like, "Okay, it's obviously a football thing, and I'm not supposed to know what it is," because I was like, I didn't listen to anything else he said because I was like, "What?" It was something to do with a triple or a 3 or something. I don't know. There's a 3 in it.
Try the triple option.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're a big football guy now, Peter.
Yeah, I've watched Swamp Kings. Yeah. So
Big Tim Tebow guy.
Big Jets fan.
I was like texting Tyler Watkins being like, "Oh, why does this happen? Who's this? And what?" Like just constant stream of consciousness questions. And then like halfway through, I was like, is this a coincidence that like another guy that there was a documentary made about is in this documentary about like, that what's his name? Hernandez or whatever that killed it. Yeah. I was like, I paused it and I was like to my wife, I was like, I fucking know that guy. She's like, how do you know him? I was like, I don't know, but I know him. And then I was like, how would I know an American footballer? And I was like, oh, he killed someone and then killed himself.
Yeah, that's how you know most American footballers. I was a big Jets fan until Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles.
Dude, I'm so bummed about that.
How much does that suck? It didn't seem like a bad
So
injury,
bad.
and then
I'm so sad about it. And then whenever he like posted, I mean, just imagine how much hype was around that. Whenever you're that high profile and the entire like biggest city in the United States is hyped that you're there, you run out with the American flag, it's going bonkers, and then 4 plays in, it's just like, yep, you're done for the season.
They still beat the Bills though, which is crazy.
It was a crazy game. And the quote of when Sauce Gardner said he went in at halftime, and Aaron just looked at him and said, "Sorry, kid." I'm about to cry.
Dude, Sauce Gardner. What a freaking name, too.
I know.
Has Chick said that when I'm watching American football, I'm wondering why they're not flopping on the ground when they get hit. Well, Ireland are currently at the Rugby World Cup, and they don't wear pads or helmets because they're not pussies. And if you watch like a hurling match as well, or any clip of hurling, you'll see why I'm not wondering why they're not flopping around. They literally carry sticks and like hit each other with sticks.
In Irish rugby?
In
don't
hurling.
They grab each other?
No.
That's like one
rugby is the same everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're playing, it's the same rules.
What's
hurling? Hurling, the ball is about the size of a tennis ball, but it's like made of hard. It's actually, this is a child's one, but it's like a smaller version of that basically.
Oh, it's a baseball.
Like a lacrosse ball?
It's the size of a baseball, but it's not as hard. You know what I mean? It's like there's a bit of give in it. And you play it on a full pitch about the size of, field, about the size of a rugby field, kind of. And you have everyone, there's 15 people and you have a stick, and you get 1 point if you hit it over the bar, 3 points if you hit it into the goal, with like past the goalie. It is nuts. I showed Tyler the other week and he was like, this is murder ball. He was like, this is crazy.
Sounds like Nutball. You ever play Nutball?
No.
Where you sit in a circle with a ball of your choice with a bunch of your guy friends, and you guys are all sitting on the ground, legs are in like a V stretch position.
This sounds like a circle jerk. Go on.
No, but you're not naked. You have your pants. You're fully clothed, and one person starts with the ball, and you just roll it and see if you can hit your buddy in the nuts. Also, Rambler said he went to cornerback camp with Sauce, and I just really have a hard time believing that that's true at all.
Maybe he means he brought maybe he means he brought some ketchup or mayonnaise or something.
It was a kids camp.
He brought some ketchup or mayonnaise.
I heard maybe it was the Make-A-Wish camp that Sauce Gardner did.
Dude, chill. It was not gay. It's really the game. Basically the Nutball is who has the toughest nuts.
Do you ever hear the game? No, maybe I won't talk about it. Actually, it's okay. I retract. I'm recoiling into my shell. Don't worry. I'm not going to bring that up.
You're not going to bring what up?
No, I just thought of another game that I heard about, but it's so sick.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, let's not talk
fine.
about it, dude. All right. Hurling. Yeah, that's American hurling. Nutball, essentially.
Oh, JR can't be on the show, but he can be in the chat.
He texts and drives more than anyone I know. Hey, get off your phone, dude. It's dangerous.
Is it legal there? You're like, there's no.
Texting
Is
on
there
your phone? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Or texting when you're driving? No, it's not legal.
texting on your phone? Yeah, it's really illegal here.
What do they do? Grab you?
You have to sit down with your feet in a V and roll a ball. Roll a ball at the policeman, and then he rolls it back.
Somebody. All right, we got to talk about the Wadapalooza qualifiers. JR wants to talk about that next week. For those of you in the comments asking, JR wants to wait till next week to talk about that. So we're gonna dive in nice and deep next week on Wadapalooza. But what do they do to you if you get caught texting and driving in Ireland?
We have like a penalty point system. So you get 3.
Is it Z-score? Z-score?
You get if you text really fast, if you get text the fastest, you get 3 points. No, you get, I think it's 3 points for speeding, or regardless of 2 miles over the limit or 20.
What?
Yeah, it's the same. You get a fine and you get penalty points, and if you get 12 penalty points, you lose your license for a year, and the penalty points last on your license for 2 years. So like, say if I have 6, it takes 2 years for the first 3 that I got to disappear off my license, so like you can accumulate them. And then there's like court appearances, fines, like that kind of shit. Or if you do something crazy, they'll take your license off you. Like if you drink drive and run someone over, they're not just going to be like, here's 3 penalty points. It'll be like,
that's
you
pretty similar to how it works in America. We have penalty points as well.
Yeah.
Do they call is police a universal term?
No, I called it that to make it accessible for you guys.
What are you guys calling constables? The constable?
Oh no, not the constables are coming.
We call them constables, all right. No, we call them guards. So it's like Gardaí Síochána is like the term. Then we call them guards. It's like guardians of the peace, basically, is what it comes from. I wanted to ask, so I should have actually asked the guy that was doing it, but I saw an athlete the other day doing, I can't remember what he called them, but it was, I'll see if I can find it. It might have been in a story.
Wankers. Do you ever call the guards wankers? Hello, wanker.
No. It's a good way to get off penalty points, though. If PD Savage was doing these, it was like the bottom half of a burpee. So he was like lying down on the ground and then coming into like a squat, but his hands were still on the ground. Do you know what I mean?
She's fucking the ground.
Like he was lying on the ground, bringing his feet up to where his hips had been. I don't think his hands were coming off the ground. I think they were still like not flat maybe, but like touching the ground, and he was in a squat, and then he dropped straight back down into burpee, and he did 200 of them for time. Why would he be doing that?
A sprawl. Sounds like a sprawl, but you are not.
He had a name. He named it.
Then let's look it up. PD Savage. I'm gonna.
It's not. It was on his stories, because like James Jousey is his coach, and like he's not the type to just be like, no, fuck it, do this. Like he'd have a specific. But I was like, it's obviously some kind of weakness or something, or perceived weakness that he has. That they're working on.
He might have weak hips or just bad at hinging in general, because that just sounds like an obscene amount of hinging. Hinge at the hip.
Yeah.
Close the hip, open the hip, close the hip, open the hip.
It looked awful. It looked like the type of thing that you see it written down. And you're like, oh, that wouldn't be too bad because I don't have to stand up and jump, so that's fine. But it's like, I'd say after about 10, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it just sounds like you're trying to blow your back out.
Yeah, don't ever program it, please.
Are you one of those guys who gets back pain from burpees?
No, I think you probably have to do them fast enough to accumulate enough to do
what on a weekly basis. What makes your back hurt? Do you ever get back pain? Do you suffer? I'll suffer from chronic back pain. Is that you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Really, never.
That's dope.
I've never had a sore back. I've had like a stiff back. If I've done, I don't know, bent over row or something, or what. You have like you just kind of need to roll it out or whatever. But I've never been like, oh, I cannot train or I cannot pick up my kids or whatever. So far,
Will's back's blown out. What caused it, Will?
The initial thing was throwing a railroad tie off of the road when it was flooding.
Oh, sheesh. Those are heavy as fuck.
Yeah, I'm super strong.
Apparently not strong enough. Apparently,
Working out with the wife. Mason Mitchell had a stiff front tail earlier. Were you watching that show, Will? Do you know what a front tail is?
Yeah.
If somebody says front tail, what do you think? First thing that comes to mind.
A penis.
Okay. All right. Just curious. Would you ever call it that, or would you just say
No.
penis? Okay.
I have
Penis.
never heard that before.
We can't.
That's
talk
like
about
something. That's like something that you'd say to, like, if you've been what do you
like
call
you
it?
would read it in a children's book, but it
Yeah,
shouldn't
like
be in
you
there.
call it like kindergarten teacher, right? Where you teach like 4-year-olds. If you've done that for like 35 years and you've lost your mind, and then you're like, guys, make sure and shake your front tails when you use the toilet. You know, like it's just like where you've gone. Like you're never allowed to do jury duty again.
Oh
You've been
my
like,
God.
Or if you're on a list, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, like
If you're on a list, you can't use those words.
I'm not allowed to say that word.
Yeah.
Holy shit. All right, we're gonna talk about Wadapalooza next week.
JR's on my show tomorrow.
JR's going on Coffee Pods and Wads tomorrow.
In 24 hours and 20 minutes. JR will be on my show tomorrow.
That's crazy.
So everybody swing by, say hi.
We got a lot of swingers in the chat, so I'm sure they'll be over there.
Hog up or
That's
hog down.
fact.
Listen, sign up for self-made training program. You can do it. Peter does it.
I literally, if I can do it, I mean, fucking hell. Like a pillow with no arms or legs will be able to do it if I can do it. Like,
Pillow with no arms or legs.
How many modifications? Which modification version do you normally do? The first one down or the second modification?
Or the fourth.
it depends. So like, I can't see it from here. I write up on the board on a Sunday night what I'm going to do for the week. Like I write up options. So I'll write up 7 workouts, 6 workouts, 5 from you and 1 from dad hours. So like if I come home, I did dad hours like yesterday because I was like, I've got 20 minutes max. So I just did a dad hours and it was fucking awful. And then all the rest of them. So I'll do, if there's one with like muscle ups, forget it. Like if there's one with pull-ups, sometimes what I do is I make my own modifications. So like this is where I train, but I have a pull-up rig outside. But like basically from next week, probably not going to happen training outside, like just here with weather and shit. So I'll further modify my modification. So I'll be like, all right, I'm just going to do rows on the bar instead of like body rows because I can't get outside or whatever. Yep. Oftentimes, like you programmed one the other day and it was with kettlebells, double
front squat, hand clean and jerk.
Yeah, and I'm doing that I think tomorrow, the next day, but I'm doing it with dumbbells because I don't have 2 kettlebells.
Perfect.
Then the other day I did hang snatch, that broad jump hang snatch one, and I don't know if I've ever done a hang snatch with a kettlebell before, and I did one. So we have a 24 kilo and a 16 kilo kettlebell, whatever the usual open male weight and female weight, whatever that is there.
50.
And then we have the same in dumbbells, a set of 15s, or a set of the female or like RX open weight and a set of the male RX open weight, because I don't know how to convert it. And I did one hang snatch. Like I was like, I'll just warm up and like I'll just see what it's like. And I did one, and I was like, my fucking forearm. It's like, why is this a thing? I was like,
you in the back of the
oh my god, it was so sore. I was like, honestly, for 10 minutes, I was just like, I've broken my arm. Like I've definitely broken it. And then my answer to that was, I'll try it on my left arm. And I did it on my left arm. And the exact same thing happened. And I was like, all right, I'm obviously doing something wrong. So I watched like videos and shit. And I was like, oh, you don't just like loop it and let it just like go like bonk on the back of your arm. So I was like, there's actually some skill to it. But yeah, halfway through that workout, I modified that. And I was like, fuck this, I'm using the other kettlebell. Like this one's way too heavy. I was like, okay, I understand what the stimulus is supposed to be here. And I'm definitely not getting it by doing like sets of 4 and then like taking a break and stuff. So yeah, sometimes.
So you used a dumbbell there too?
No, I used my wife's kettlebell.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Was it okay?
Yeah, like I got a serious sweat on and I was, like laughably shit at the broad jump. So as you'd expect. But yeah, I'd say I'd say, in answer to your question, Will, I'd say anything with high skill, I immediately dumb down, sometimes like 2 jumps down. Like gymnastic stuff, especially. I'd say a lot of the time, the kind of heavier workouts, I scale those because twofold. Like, one, I basically ignored strength for about a year. And then secondly, I can't be too loud because usually it's before my kids get up or after they go to sleep. So I can't be like doing single, snatches and dumping the bar or whatever.
Yep.
And then, yeah, other times I modify during. So I might be like, I'll be doing a workout and I'd be like, oh, here, fuck this. Like, there's no way this is what he meant it to be like. Like, there's no way he meant it to feel this way. Like, I shouldn't be like grinding out front squats with the bar in this workout. It's probably supposed to be do a quick set of 10, move on to the next thing or whatever. But one thing I do like, and my wife loves it as well, because I'm like giving her the programming for free. One thing that she loves and that I love is that current. And just to be clear for people who might think that this is an ad, I wasn't brought. Well, I don't think I was brought on specifically for this, but I just want to give credit where it's due. The front squat, back squat thing is like abhorrent but brilliant. Like, I've never done that kind of training before. I've done, that classic CrossFit, you go into an affiliate and it's like, 5x5 front squat, 5x5 back squat. And then you do your workout or whatever. Yeah. JR, you dick. Or I've done progressive overload over the course of a season or whatever, where it's like, we're going to do sets of 10, then for 4 weeks, then sets of 8 for 4 weeks, then sets of whatever, like that kind of way, like 10, 8, 5, 3, 2 test or whatever. But these ones are like an EMOM or every 30 seconds or whatever, front squats, and then you immediately do more reps at the same weight of front squats but less sets, and then you do front squats and then back squats with the same weight for more reps. And I just fucking love that for 2 reasons. One is because it's like, I'm literally looking at the time going like, all right, I got to go now, instead of being like, oh, I'm still a bit tired, I might just wait like another 30 seconds or whatever. Or rushing it and fucking it up the other way, being like, oh, I'm probably okay. And then like, I just wasted an hour by not training myself hard enough. But yeah, I really, really like those. And she's a big fan of them as well, because it keeps you on track.
Honest, when you do them, do you find that you have enough time to do the strength and the workout within 60 minutes, or is it a bit of a tight squeeze sometimes?
No, I'm definitely under. Like, I'm definitely, yeah. Now, I will say, you're going to love this, especially coming from a man who had hernia surgery. So if I go into
big unwarmer upper, I would assume.
Oh my God. Like, so yesterday, right? Did I do yesterday? 30 seconds, 2 back squats. Yeah. So warm up. I'm just going to read this out. People can do it. It's not my program. I don't care. So warm was like 2-minute rower bike, 2 minutes of alternating Spider-Man lunges, 2 minutes bottom squat stretch mobility, then 2 rounds of the empty barbell, 5 front squat, 10 back squat, then 2 rounds of 5 strict press, 5. Oh, that would have made sense for the finisher. 5 hanging knee raises, 5 push press, 5 half range GHD sit-ups, then start building to squat load in 5 to 7 minutes. I walked in, I did a squat, like an air squat. I kind of mooched around a bit when I was down there. And then I was kind of like, I kind of feel okay. And I started building to the first set.
If you would have done the warm up, do you think you would be under time? Curious.
I would have been fairly tight, I'd say.
You'd be close.
I probably would have been. I'm assuming I would have been, but I would have been fairly tight. But a lot of that would have come down to like the workout took me longer than it probably took most people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like there. That's a perfect example, Will. Right. So it was. The finisher was for time 10 GHD sit-ups. I don't got a GHD sit-ups.
Just sit on your assault bike. Sit on your assault bike and put your toes up on the pan.
So like, also, even if I did have a GHD, I mean, I want to be able to like sneeze and shit. Sneeze and shit. So
is that what happens when you mooch around in the bottom of your squat?
It was 10 GHD sit-ups, 10 strict barbell press, 20 toes to bar, 20 barbell push press, 30 toes to bar, 30 dumbbell shoulder to overhead, 40 GHD sit-ups, 40 single arm dumbbell shoulder to overhead. So I did 10 sit-ups, 10 barbell strict press, 20 sit-ups, 20 barbell strict press, 30 sit-ups, 30 dumbbell shoulder to overhead. I did 2 shoulder to overhead with the 22 with the 50s, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, literally, I will fucking die if I continue to do this. So I dropped down to the 35s. Then I did 40 sit-ups and I did 40 single arm shoulder overhead. I went back up to the 50s of them because I was like, well, my left arm can rest when my right arm is doing the 5 or whatever. But like those kind of ones, I just modify. Like the modification on that, I modified it to just like that is not going to suit me. So I'm just going to do, and like I'm someone who doesn't need more than sit-ups. Like I need to do more sit-ups, but I don't need anything that's a more challenging version of a sit-up than a sit-up currently. So
is that something you ever want to progress to? Like these higher skills? Is that something you just don't care about? And
currently I couldn't give a fuck. Like I've got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and like I don't care. Like it's not a high priority. I want to sweat and I want to feel like I've done something and I want to improve my, I don't know, like view of myself and my aesthetic view of myself and my mental view of myself. So I use training to like as an auxiliary force towards that. And like I don't care if I can't do a handstand push-up. Now I'm hopefully a time will come where things simmer down a bit and it can be like, okay, yeah, like now I'm in a position to, I want to fucking heavy clean and I want to, there was a period of time where I was obsessed with all that shit. I wasn't good at it then either, but I was obsessed with it of like, oh, I really want to, like, you know, if you can RX a workout, it means you're good. Like that was my whole thing. Whereas now I'm like, the alternative to this is sitting on the couch and not getting worse, but maybe not getting better. So like, I'm going to just dose myself with this and see what happens kind of thing.
How long did that workout yesterday take you?
1 sec.
You don't remember your, okay. Yeah. Will, do you remember your times? Mason, that squat series is not a comp train knockoff. It's just called cluster.
13:24.
That's perfect.
And I did the rowing thing this morning, the conditioning this morning. And I was like, oh man, I feel like shit. Like I just did like, so I looked at my Whoop and it was like 16 minutes zone 2, 1 minute 20 seconds zone 4. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I did this wrong because I was like, I feel like I should have been in zone 4 or 5 for more of it. But then I looked at your parentheses, as you call them, and I was like, oh, I'm actually fairly close. Like, so that it's obviously all right. Like I was like 1 or 2 seconds out on one, or, you know, and also I got up at 10 to 6 this morning. Sorry, 5:50 or whatever the fuck you call it. Came downstairs, sat on the rower, turned on the clock and went. Because I was like, I need to go to work. Yep. So I was like, right, start my 500. First 500 was like 148, but then all the rest of them were like 143. Because like the first one, I was just like, I don't even know if my eyes were open for most of it.
Peter, all right, bro.
But I also will say, that's not a concept rower.
It's one of those water things.
No, it is. It's a knockoff concept. It's like a black box. Like it's an Irish company that make gym equipment, and they made. But I know. Just from feel, I know that like if I give that one really fucking hard pull, I know I'll get a calorie and like 9/10. You know, like maybe 2. If I give it if I get a good 2 pulls on it, I might get 4 calories. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
But the pacing is probably, you know, like it's probably more accurate than the calories anyway, wouldn't it be?
Closer. I don't know. What's the verdict? Oh, I did this workout yesterday. James Hobart posted this workout. It was 150 burpees for time. At the start, 2 air squats. At the 1 minute mark, 4 air squats. At the 2 minute mark, 6 air squats. Every minute adding 2 air squats to that like buy-in until you reach 150 burpees. And to me, it looked like he got to the point to where he was only doing air squats and did not finish that workout 100%. And I asked him how it went, and he didn't respond to me. So I'm assuming
he tagged you in his story though.
He did. So, but I would have just imagined it went poorly because mine did. I changed it and I was like, hey, I sent this to one of my friends who I train with at the gym. I was like, let's do this 100 bar facing burpees for time. At the start, 1 clean and jerk. At the 1 minute mark, 2 clean and jerks. At the 2 minute mark, 3 clean and jerks, etc. At 165, 115. And I did not finish.
How many burpees can you do in a minute?
Like going as fast as I can, bar facing burpees. Probably 30.
And if you had to do it over like
my 100 burpee for time, not bar facing, my 100 burpees for time is like 409. or 413. I can't remember. One of those two numbers.
What do you get in the 7 minutes?
Well, it depends on the variation of burpees. Like, is
You know the way they open
target?
like just 7 minutes for 7 burpees or 7 minutes for time
like
or for
upwards
reps.
of 150.
Fuck.
But this workout, I still went out pretty hot. I like 3, 2, 1 go. I did 1 clean and jerk. Then I did 21 burpees in that first minute. And I did 21 and I had like, it was at the 51-second mark. So I like got up and like waited for 9 seconds and caught my breath. Did 2 clean and jerks. Boom. Went at it again. 17 burpees this time. Right around the 52, 53-second mark. Got up, pulled back, a couple deep breaths, 3 clean and jerks. Then I got 14 burpees. And then I pulled up and was like, okay, I'm going to take a couple breaths. And then I got 12 burpees. And then I got 6 burpees. And then I got 2 burpees. And I got no burpees. And I failed. Brutal workout. So I rewrote it just a little bit, but probably most people will fail it. But I think the cool thing about that workout is it's a really good workout, even if you fail.
I did one yesterday from dad hours when I had my 20 minutes and it was like
Yeah, don't talk about that on here.
it was like 20. So I scaled it and it was like 10 burpees, 10 calories. No, 10 calories, 10 burpees, assault bike, like 10 calories, 10 burpees, 13, 13, 16, 16, max. But it was like a 4-minute EMOM. So you do 10 calories, 10 burpees, 10 calories, 10 burpees, then straight away into the next 4 minutes of 13, 13, 13, 13, then straight away into the next 4 minutes of 16, 16, 16, 16, then straight away into max. The actual workout was like, I think it was 13 in the first round, 16 in the second round, 20 in the last round, and then max in the, the end bit or whatever. I did 10. I was like, okay, yeah, like it's fine. And then 13, I was like, man, 16 is going to be pretty hairy. I was like, halfway, I was looking at the clock when I stood up after my last like 13th burpee, and I was just like, oh, this is not going to be good. And I did 16 calories, got off the bike at like fucking 54 seconds or something. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I've got 4 seconds to recover. And then I did 16 burpees. I stood up my last burpee and it was like 59, 60. And I was like, fuck, I have to get back on the bike. And I had nothing. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll just do as many calories as I can up to like 50 seconds. And then I'll just match that number with burpees. I did 10 calories. And then I was like, I felt bad about only doing 10. So I did 11 burpees. Oh man, those kind of ones though are just.
Was there any rest between those 4-minute EMOMs, or was it straight on? It was
straight in.
Wow.
That's the thing. That's why I pick a dad hours one a week, is because it's just like it hammers the shit out of you, and you know it's going to take like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and it's like,
that's good.
Yeah.
I've never done 100 burpee box jump overs for time. I don't think. Never done that. Done 100 burpee pull-ups, 100 bar facing, 100 to target, 100 regular.
I feel like 100 over box is you're just going to get injured.
No.
You're definitely going to clip yourself.
What was that open workout from 21? Was it 21.2? The dumbbell snatch? The retest was from 2017 too.
Yeah.
It was like 15 dumbbell snatch, 15 burpee box jump over, 30, 15.
That was one of the hardest workouts I've ever watched anyone else do. It's the most uncomfortable I've ever felt in a room. Where a guy was doing that workout and his back was like just
blowing out. Pain. Yeah, shrimp back. Oh, fuck.
He was crying. Like we were all like, oh, do we leave or do we is it worse to leave or is it worse to stay and watch this one guy like grind? Because wasn't it there was a big time cap on it? It was like go as high as you can, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a huge time cap. I did really well on that.
Oh man, it was awful to watch. But he just won High Rocks Dubai and he's going to World Championships and he's a fucking animal.
Oh, so he's an aerobic beast. He just moves like
his weightlifting, he's insane strong.
Wow.
He went from
and he moves well.
Yeah. He went from like that time he was like scrawny, like you could see his ribs, nothing. And now he's like, he's got like lats coming out of his fucking he's huge and he's strong and he's really good.
So anyways, that's all to say. I don't know my 100 burpee box jump, but my 100 big blow jobs over for times, but I did really well in that workout. I think I was like 13th in the open in that workout. So I like burpee box jump overs, but I will not be doing 100 for time on the box anytime soon.
All right.
Will's like, I gotta go, and I'm fucking done with this. While me and Peter are just chatting. It's all good, bro. We'll sign off.
I have to go and do my fake news.
I gotta go mop the gym floor.
Thanks everyone for watching. We did 2 shows at once, hour and 30 minutes. Thanks
we're
Peter for
supposed to
coming
be
on.
45, yeah.
Oh, Jeremy Eat World. Oh, we answered this question. Thanks,
Yep, I
Jeremy, for the
answered it.
$5. You're welcome, Sevon.
Does that go to Sevon? Fuck, dude. Just Venmo me next time.
Tomorrow, Coffee Pods and Wads. What time is that at?
3 p.m. Eastern.
3 p.m. Eastern.
What about what PM Ireland?
8.
8 p.m. Ireland. Okay.
8
After-
p.m. Ireland time.
After I put the kids to bed.
JRL, Pure White on Coffee Pods and Wads tomorrow, 3 p.m.
I love it when people do that.